Jerome Tang, head coach of Kansas State now as we shift our attention to the Purple and the Wildcats. And you're so observant. He sat down, Fran. The first thing he asked was if you didn't get the memo about the suits. I mean, you were all over that.
I just like to stand out a little bit more. Like, you guys want me,
I'd have worn a half zip if they let me.
There it is.
Don't worry, Sean. I didn't invite them to Thanksgiving dinner.
Thank you. You did it. You did me when the interview room. Let me start there real quick because, team building in this era is difficult. You get a lot of new faces. You did it through cooking in this offseason with your team. Why was that such an important way for you to kind of build this group together in this offseason?
I developed a cooking passion during COVID, and it's one of my stress releases. Nothing like preparing a meal and watching people enjoy something you put your heart into. And, Jesus broke bread with his disciples all the time, and that's how they built that bond. And a lot of teaching took place during breaking bread. And so having the guys over and preparing something they wanted to eat, teaching them how to cook it. And we've done the whole team together, too, where we've cooked. And so it's just something that's part of who we are and what we do.
Some programs talk about guys that put on 20 pounds because of the strength coach. This is the rare program that the guys put on 20 pounds because of the head coach. Because of the head coach.
No, it's still our strength coach. Phil Byers, the best in the business.
Yeah. But you are such a knowing you forever. You're about relationships and your faith, but relationships with the players. It's more than just on the court. And in this new era, because I can think back to Baylor, and you had guys for 4 years, and you got to know them. But how does a coach who's so into relationships almost like kickstart it so quickly? I mean, it's got to be a little bit of a challenge.
Well, yeah, it is, but you just have to be real intentional about it. It has to, they say LeBron plans everything around his sleep because of how important sleep is to his success. And so we try to plan, Bailey and Kareem and them, they plan my schedule around me spending time with the guys on campus. And there are certain times that we're not going to let anything interfere with because I'm going to be with those guys. Part of it was not going out in July and recruiting because it was more important for me to sit in my back porch and have a discussion with a guy one-on-one than it was for me to go watch the next guy you wanted on campus. And we now have 10 to 12 months to do what we used to have 4 years to do. And so it's just real important to us.
You get those relationships with guys, and it's important to have relationships with players, have good relationships with the basket. And you certainly have a bunch of those. 5 transfers, average double figures, top 5 transfer class judged by many. What expectations do you have for the new guys coming in, PJ Haggerty, who we're going to hear from in just a little bit as well?
Yeah, the expectation for our program is that we're in the NCAA tournament every year and with a chance to win the Big 12 and a chance to win the national championship. And that's never going to change. I'm never going to start a season without having a plan on figure out how we're going to win the last game. And because once you've done it, it's just nothing like it, right? And so that's just what it is. And these guys have come in, they all talked about winning and what they wanted to do to win and how they wanted to contribute to winning. And so that's the thing. And I've told them what they need to do. Like, hey, we've got to build this chemistry. We've got to be uncomfortable be comfortable doing the uncomfortable things. I don't know that PJ was necessarily required to be such a vocal leader. He told me, Coach, I lead by example. And I said, well, there's no such thing as a quiet leader, and trying to get him to be more vocal. And he has been. He's embraced it, man. And I was telling you, I believe I got the best point guard in America, and we're going to help develop his leadership skills so he can also be one of the best leaders in America.
You've also gone the international route. Why was that important for you to find international players with stellar resumes overseas? Yeah,
well, the bucket is only so big of players we can recruit here. And everybody wants them, and so I wanted to expand the bucket. The second thing is our international guys have all played on professional teams with older men who it's their livelihood, right? And coaches get fired, and they can get moved up and down if they don't perform. So they've developed some routine to their life, and they have some of those things that you don't have to teach because it's already been taught to them, and you just have to refine it. And so. And then when they played so many possessions, the 24-second shot clock and the offensive rebound turns to 13, they have so many possessions in them. Yeah. Like it just almost like you say, I've heard you describe spending a year in the NBA as like getting a doctorate, right, in basketball because there's so many possessions and so many games. Well, they've done that overseas, and so they're a little bit more advanced. Not necessarily better players, but maybe more understanding of this new makeup of college basketball.
With that 24-second shot clock, do you see a difference in the way they play that maybe makes it better for your guys that haven't played with that low clock?
Well, they don't panic at the end of the shot clock.
Right.
Right, because like 10-9, they understand that's a lot of time.
Right.
But the other side of it is that they don't take every possession as serious because they play so many. So the defensive end, we let this go, I'll make it up on the other side. So we got to get them to understand how important every possession is.
Matthew Driscoll joins your staff, who I know you have a good relationship with, Bill Peterson as well. What do those additions mean for guys that you've had relationships with and now are with you here at Kansas State?
Well, they filled the void. I had to examine myself last year and say, where am I lacking, right? What are my deficiencies as a leader? And then I had to fill those voids. And I think I'm a pretty good player development guy, which is what I did at Baylor. But I don't have the time to be on the floor every single day with these guys individually to help them get better at their game. So I needed someone that was as passionate about player development as I am about all the other things, and Bill Peterson fits that. And then, I know I can teach defense as well as anybody in the country. I know I struggle in the details of offense, right? We didn't have bad offense in the past, but maybe our details weren't as refined. And Coach Driscoll is like a detail-oriented. He says simple is sophisticated, and he has a way of teaching and a passion about it that like really drives that. And you can see it in how much better our guys have gotten, just how more efficient we are at shooting the ball now. And when you bring in scores, right,
that helps.
You got to give them, but you got to give them some structure that's going to allow them to be successful, and teach them about what's the most efficient shot for each player.
And I think Coach Peterson was with a guy named Giannis as a rookie with the Milwaukee Bucks. That turned out okay.
Dirk.
Yeah, and Dirk. Yeah, Dirk and Dallas.
Steve Nash.
Yeah.
And, he worked with some really good ones, man. But I saw what he did at Baylor with guys like Freddie Gillespie.
Oh, man, how about that?
Yeah, and Mark Vidal. And so, it's we've had – I'm excited. I'm really excited about where our program's going.
We're excited to watch you this year. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Really
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Coach.
Again, just a few short years removed from an Elite Eight appearance, trying to get back to the NCAA tournament. Chancellor was someone who's trying to help him get there.
Yeah, he's one of the more noteworthy newcomers of the Big 12, PJ Haggerty. And PJ, welcome to the Big 12. Before you could even officially put on a Wildcats jersey, the league decided that you were already one of the best players in the conference, naming you to the Big 12 team. What do you think that says about you as a player?
It says started with hard work. Being a player in the Big 12, I say it's one of the best conferences, I would say, probably in college basketball. So be able to come here and just try to be the best I can for every game, I feel like it'd be an exciting season.
Just a couple of years ago, we saw Kansas State make deep runs in March. How much have you envisioned being a key part in leading them back to those deep runs?
Oh, yeah, I remember that Marquise Noel run. I feel like that was very special. A very special K-State run, so just trying to get back to that. Our goal is the Final Four. We've been working since the summer, but we're going to take it game by game, and just when it comes, it comes.
Real quick, the theme song back then was Low Down by Lil Baby. What's the theme song this year?
We got to go Youngboy this year. It's a different year. Shot calling Youngboy. That's what
Shot caller by Youngboy. Yeah. Thanks for your time, PJ. Sure. After the break, we will